Hello, good evening. Thank you, everybody who's joining us tonight. We see a lot of people logging in here, so we're just going to give it another minute or two as folks get situated. Okay. Well, listen, thank you all for joining us on our third installment. The M&A group here at TUSK has decided there's so much going on inside of our industry, really day by day, minute by minute, that we owe it to you all to share with you our insights and provide you updates on the market, at minimum on a monthly basis. It has been a remarkable 30 days. This market is changing ever so quickly. We are seeing different buy-side dynamics, incredible sell-side dynamics that we certainly want to share with each and every one of you. The title of this presentation, Sell Now or Wait 4 Years. I know it sounds like sensationalism, but I want you to know that we certainly believe that we are in an absolutely unique window of opportunity for sellers. We're going to unpack that and share with you our perspective and welcome your feedback and questions all along the way. This evening, you've got an opportunity to lob some questions into us. Recommend you type those out. I don't know if we're going to have time to get to them this evening. In the event that we do not, we will certainly reach out to you directly and make sure that we contact you and follow up with you. And if you would like to speak with any of us individually or collectively, go to the website, tusk-partners.com. Hunt around for the sell button, and you can there book a call with us here at TUSK Partners. So thank you again for joining us. I know everybody's on a busy schedule. We'll get right down to it. So at TUSK here, we view our job as very, let me say this, it's clear to us what our job is, and that's to maximize the value of your business, and that's something we're passionate about. We've got a great team here that makes that their job each and every day. I'll briefly introduce myself. I'm Kevin Cumbus, President, Co-founder, and Managing Director of Mergers and Acquisitions. My background is 10 years of finance and investment banking. Before getting involved in the business of dentistry, been at this now for, I guess, 16 years. And really all my work has been on value creation, be it at the McGill Hill Group in dental practice valuation sales, at the DSO Affordable Dentures, scaling that business, creating my own practice, and selling it, and now with TUSK. So it's a great pleasure to join you this evening. We're now going to pass the baton around to a couple other guests we have this evening. I'm super excited that they're here. And so you're aware, this is the M&A team. This is your dedicated resource team here. So if you've got questions, anything related to M&A tonight, please let us know. Ryan, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, Ryan Mingus, Director of Mergers and Acquisitions here at TUSK. You can see from my background here, 12 years, all in the business development side of healthcare. Most recently came to TUSK from Align Technology, served as an in-house management consulting resource to Align Technology's Special Markets Division, working with the large elite practices and also advising them on strategies for the mid-market groups. Prior to that, spent time in management consulting, specifically in the healthcare space, hospitals, mergers and acquisitions, specializing in ambulatory surgery center roll-up strategies for our clients that were large hospital systems. Before that, did several different roles in business development, though, all again in healthcare. Now I'm going to hand it over to Alex to introduce himself.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, great to be here. Began my career in corporate finance with GE Aviation, 2 years through their F&P program. Unique opportunity to get into the M&A space with Wendy's, helping them value and transact on their corporate refranchise sale process of their company-owned restaurants. And then good opportunity to continue my track down the M&A route with a management consulting company, Galton Company, and spent 3 years with them helping a Fortune 100 consumer beverage company go through a refranchise sale Similarly to Wendy's, helping them transact on and sell their manufacturing assets to their existing bottling network. Recently had an opportunity to kind of stay at home here in Charlotte and join the TUSK team. It's been about a year now in engaging in similar valuation and analytical work, helping dentists go to market and value their practices.
Yeah, I hope what everybody can note here is that we've got a team here that's schooled both inside and outside of dentistry, and they're bringing these unique perspectives into each and every one of our transactions, and it's a real treat to get to work with a team like that. Before we dig in, I just want to give you an overview of TUSK. Here at our team, at our shop here in Charlotte, we've got 8 dedicated team members with a collective 80 plus years of experience specifically in the business of dentistry. Collectively, we've worked on over 900 dental practice transitions and transactions over our collective careers. We did over $100 million of deals in 2020, and we know 2021 is going to be a lot bigger year than that, and that's what we're here to talk about. So we're at 280 right now under letter of intent, with a lot more in the chamber coming out to market in the next couple weeks. We work with all specialties throughout the business of dentistry, and the lifetime average transaction multiple in group practice is 7.8 times trailing 12-month EBITDA. We've shown these comps before. Again, this is a preview. This is a look back of the year that was. And I think, we always try to predict the future by looking at the past. But rather than digging into these tiny numbers, what I want to focus on are really 2 critical points that I think highlight the hard work that we do here at TUSK. One, in these 21 transactions that you see here, there are 16 unique buyers. And that's important to note, because what it should tell you is we go broad on every transaction. We're focused very specifically on finding the right buyer for each one of our clients. That doesn't mean we're going to the same buying pool every single time. Far from it. We're really trying to custom craft solutions that meet our clients' needs. And you got to go broad to do that. The second thing is really a nod to our analytics team, analytics department that Alex does such a good job with. We got a great team here that rolls up their sleeves and gets down and dirty with the numbers. We start our financial analysis really with the general ledger level and build up from there. It is so critical to have a team like ours on your side when you're going through a transaction like this. You get one chance to say your life's work, and you better have a defendable position to get to your adjustments on your EBITDA. Otherwise, it's going to get butchered by the buy side and by the quality of earnings firms. So I am beyond excited to share with you, we saw 0 deterioration of value through the quality of earnings process in 2020, and actually saw 1 large material change to the positive, thanks to a great client who just crushed it between when we took them to market and ultimately when they closed their transaction. So can't say enough good stuff about the team on that front. All right, look, let's get down to it. You didn't come here to hear us talk about ourselves. Let's talk about the market. So with this, I'm going to hand it on over to Alex to get started. We're going to do really 2 sections to this presentation. Piece 1 is going to be the 3 drivers of demand on the buy side, which fuels competitiveness, which fuels pricing and drives up demand, right? So that's what we're seeing. And then really, if you're contemplating, the second half of the presentation will be, if you were considering a sale of your large practice or group in the next 3 to 5 years, you really should think about selling your business today, and we're going to help you understand why. All right, with this, I'll hand it on over to Alex.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, so we actually spent some time earlier this year canvassing DSOs across the country to really learn about what 2020 looked like. We met with the DSO's business development teams, senior leadership, and we really got some insight into what 2020 looked like and really what their strategic goals were for 2021. And what we have found is that for a majority of these DSOs, is that in 2020 they experienced stagnant growth relative to long-term strategies put in place in their organizations, And what this has done is it's created a much larger emphasis on 2021 growth and performance relative to those strategic goals. Coupled with that is really an anticipation of a reduction in 2022 supply due to just expected market environment effects that Ryan will go through here in a minute. And what has happened is we've seen an appetite that honestly we just haven't experienced before, and it's all kind of coming together for this year.
Yeah, it's been remarkable, right? You had the DSOs that had goals to hit 60 or 70 or 80 acquisitions in 2020, and they might have gotten a quarter of those across the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, their lenders froze up; they couldn't get any deals done, and we know of well-funded private equity-backed groups that did not do a transaction from March through December.
Most of the growth that we did see in 2020, we had a few, was really through de novos, and it was like their de novo strategy that kind of led the growth for those organizations.
Yeah, so you got that coupled with some softer expectations around supply. So they got to make up for lost time this year.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome.
All right. So we definitely feel that based on our experience and what we've seen in the market, that the specialty space was the hottest market coming out of 2020. Specialties like orthodontics, endodontics, and oral surgery all performed very well, both through COVID and recovered rather quickly coming out of COVID. So really, these have proven to be pandemic resistant. We always knew that the field of dentistry was recession resistant, which was proven through the 2010 to till now. That got private equity groups interested in it, or more private equity groups interested in it. Well, now it's proven to be pandemic resistant, at least in the areas of specialty. So we've taken a number of specialty practices to market, many of whom were at or above their 2019 numbers because of their performance through and coming out of COVID. So really interesting stuff, and as a result of their performance, they're being rewarded with respect to the multiples that investors are willing to apply to these businesses.
It's completely staggering that we had anybody who was up year over year in 2020 compared to 2019, irrespective of your business.
Yeah, no matter where you're trying to park money in the world of finance or investment, you're not going to see too many businesses within any industry that could say that outside of tech and IT and cloud and on all the things that benefited from work from home. So we literally are getting phone calls daily, emails daily from folks with deep pockets ready to park cash in growing, thriving businesses, and especially in the world of specialty in ortho, oral surgery, and endo.
Yeah, for our clients right now, it's really, you can choose your own adventure with respect to your partner. I know you're working on a sizable number of new private equity-backed groups, new private equity, not new. The private equity groups aren't new to dental,
right?
But they're creating new businesses, and really that's the perfect fit for someone thinking about maybe going down that private equity pathway.
Yeah, we caution every client of ours that not all private equity groups are created equal, not all DSOs are created equal, and that if you are going to be the inaugural transaction, for a private equity group that's creating a new platform, having that experience within dental, whether it's within that specialty or not, it is really, really valuable and something that we certainly place a great premium on.
All right, so we got a double whammy on the buy side.
Yeah.
We've already talked about their strategics. Now we're hearing about all these financial buyers, so more demand than frankly I've ever conceived we could see.
Absolutely.
All right, what's number 3?
Yeah, so a lot of different DSOs are interested in making their recapitalization a reality in 2021 for the same reasons that we'll talk about later that matter to you guys, which is tax implications coming down through the change in the White House. So Obviously, they want to return a lot of capital to their investors, and if there's an opportunity to return at the current capital gains rate versus future, I think everybody, every one of their LPs, all of their doctors, partners, and all the leadership within that DSO are going to be pretty thankful that they did so. So if they had an opportunity to recapitalize in this year, everybody would be all the better for it. So that being the case, what do they want to do before they recapitalize? They want to add on as many well-performing, well-run businesses and blow up their EBITDA before they go to market themselves. So this is really for those folks that are in market right now, benefiting greatly from this, and those that might be coming to market in the next month to 2 months, let's say. After that, this becomes less of a driver because you're not going to be able to get they're not going to be able to get pro forma credit because they're going to be in market themselves. So this is really a driver for people in market now, but it is a true reality. I think we saw in one of the big recent transactions with a big DSO, national DSO, over 200 locations. When they traded, their ability to get pro forma credit or the topic of pro forma credit for their EBITDA was an important one, and one that likely drove a lot of enterprise value as a result of how their future partner would give them credit for that pro forma EBITDA.
It feels like this is a window of opportunity that could be closing sooner rather than later, and it feels that way simply because the larger DSOs, they've got to close. If this is the strategy they're going after, they have to close their deal before the end of the year.
Right.
And to get a couple more, large groups, a couple $1 million of EBITDA here, a couple $1 million of EBITDA there, under the tent and integrated and kind of push that risk aside, so the market will go, look, we understand it. We're going to pay you full boat multiple for that and true you up based on those acquisitions. I mean, what do we have here? Like 3 more months, 4 more months, 5 more months of DSOs tucking in additional groups to get pro forma credit for them?
Yeah, I mean, if you think, we always hear from our clients, well, if I partner with a DSO, I want them to be recapping in the near term. Well, that's great. You can wish for that, but if you don't find the right partner and they're not set to recap, so be it. But if you do want to partner with somebody that is set to recap in the first 12 months of your transaction, there is an opportunity to do that right now.
It's awesome. We're working with clients on the sell side that are doing this very thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the big guys. We're working with groups that have $3, $5, $7, $8 million of EBITDA who are right now completing their pipeline, completing their 2021 pipeline, closing the deals that they thought they would close in 2020 and getting them under the tent so we can move forward and bring them to the great buyers in the space and get them that pro forma credit. So great stuff on the buy side. All right, so let's move on to the sell side here. So, it's no secret that taxes tax changes are coming. The Biden administration ran on that agenda. It's also no secret that our deficit is frankly out of control, and we got to find a way to solve for that. Another round of financial stimulus just came into the U.S. economy as we are seeing cases go down. So say what you will about all that. The reality is we are spending at the federal level, at the government level, more than we've ever spent, and we don't see the tax base really going up. So there's going to have to be some changes there. Irrespective of your political persuasion, let's talk about the economics around this and the other factors that really should force you to sit down, hit pause, and think strategically about, is now the time, is this the year that I really should think about selling my life's work? So let's go ahead and get started heading down this. And I think, Alex, you've got the first slide.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. And so, as we discussed earlier, demand is just at an all-time high. Appetite is there, and we just have a multitude of DSOs coming to the table, ready to acquire and really execute and make 2021 a just killer year for them. And so how does this impact our clients? Well, yeah, every transaction, it's not just a financial equation. These are, lifelong businesses that are being transacted, and there's a lot that goes into this, just more than just a number on a page. And so these multiple bidders, looking for partnership, yes, it has resulted in high valuations that are very impressive. And so this enables our clients to meet their broader financial goals, their life goals, helps them to find that financial security and know that they're getting what they've worked for while finding the right partnership. Every DSO is different. They have different operating management styles. They have different structure of equity and requirements and cash at close, et cetera. They have different levels of ownership within their organization. And so what we found is that our clients are able to find the right partner while checking the box on where they want to be financially. And it feels really good to make that happen and see a scenario where concessions really don't have to be made.
Yeah, it's a rare time, right? We're able to bring a couple, a nice handful of buyers that are already cresting our sellers' expectation around valuation.
Yep.
And then it's all about fit.
Right. Yeah, I'll chime in with a real world example here. Obviously at TUSK we have the luxury of working with incredible businesses, incredible operators, incredible doctors, and currently we have an opportunity in market that is a group of oral surgeons, extremely successful practice, spread over multiple locations. And when they decided that it was time to take this business to market, we were excited for them, and we weren't surprised when we took it to market and had really the pick of the litter. We covered the entire spectrum of buyer types. We had businesses of similar size that wanted to merge in, that were pre-private equity, and it was an opportunity to double in size and then go to market together at one end. And at the far other end, we had a brand new startup private equity group that already had established a board of directors and hired a CEO to steward this new DSO platform for oral surgery. And then in the middle, we had specialty specific DSOs. We had multi-specialty DSOs. So, and then we had recently created private equity backed oral surgery specific DSOs in the mix. So our client had the pick of the litter for sure. And it ultimately resulted and is resulting in a really difficult decision for them, because we had 4 buyers all within spitting distance of each other with respect to economics, but then it really came down to fit and feel and risk reward for the equity roles and all of the various components that go into these deals. And it wasn't comparing apples to apples. It isn't comparing apples to apples for these guys. It's an apple to an orange to a grapefruit, and all of them are going to be great decisions for them, but they've got a difficult one, and that's what they're facing. So it was really exciting to see it happen incredibly fast, and the buyers have just been so responsive and quick to move, and it made this process really enjoyable.
Man, it's great when demand's high, isn't it?
Yeah. So Kevin touched on this leading into this section, but we all know that taxes are going up. It's not if, but when. So right now, you've got an opportunity to get in where capital gains are at 20%. The effective, just a lot of, we get this question a lot, so I'll hit it, is, these allocations aren't 100% capital gains with respect to the cash at close. It's an allocation of goodwill and fixed assets, which ultimately results in a blended rate, effective federal tax rate of the cash at close of around 23%, give or take the percentage allocation for goodwill and fixed assets. So, you're talking 23% federal compared to, a 39%, because if capital gains do go to 39, then you're on par with what the normal income is at that. So effectively, there is no benefit to having a goodwill and fixed asset allocation at that point.
That's a really good point.
But if taxes do go up, it results in ultimately the federal government not ruining your transaction, but it's an 82% difference with respect to what you could potentially take home.
Yeah, so we understand that this is kind of hard to. We all hear it. It's like, oh God, that sounds bad, and we're like, well, how bad is this really? Right. So we wrap some numbers around it, so we can kind of show you what it looks like.
Yeah. So here's an illustration of a practice right here. Can I get that slide? There we go. Here's the practice. So we talked about up top. The first section was what the current tax structure is, what the expected tax structure is, and what the change is. Well, now let's put pen to paper on this actual practice for illustrative purposes. So a $3 million of EBITDA. And we're going to apply a 7x multiple there, $21 million of enterprise value, likely a pretty happy seller there. And then we've got that allocation that we talked about of fixed assets and goodwill. So that effective tax rate is 21%. We would have done a good job in this scenario of getting a greater portion allocated to goodwill than what I referenced on the previous slide. So the federal tax rate, taxes coming out down below that 4.557 million. So the net proceeds to our client in this scenario of 16,443,000. That's current state right now. That is being received in market, and I mean nobody likes paying the tax man, but it's pretty good when you look at what the proposed tax structure would ultimately result in.
That's a good trade. I mean, that's $16 million in your pocket.
Yeah,
that's it's not bad for a day's trade.
Right. So in the blue column, the middle column here, all's the same with the exception of the effective blended tax rate. Like we said before, there's really no blending. It's just 39.6 because that's effectively the capital gains and the normal income tax rate. So doubling of taxes, obviously, it's pretty easy math when you're going 20 compared to 40. So taxes are going up, and the net take home of 12.6 million. It's a hefty change.
Yeah. Look, it's more than I would want to stomach. So that's kind of today versus next year, right?
Sure.
All right. Let's give me the answer, Ryan.
Yeah. So on the far right here, the teal box, we've got two different scenarios that we're looking at. If you want to take home that same $16.4 million, you've got two options in 2022. We could go out there and get you a 9.07 times multiple on your business. Together, us and our clients would go out and get that. And then in that scenario, the offset of that tax change would be realized, and you're taking home that 16.4 million. But that's a lofty goal.
Yeah, the government would love that too, right? So they take home 10.7 million in that transaction. So the client gets back to where they were in 2021. The government makes more money.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Is there another way?
Yeah. There's also the blood, sweat, and tears route, which would be growing your EBITDA to 3.88 million. That's not easy. And clients come to us all the time and indicate that, I just need to get my EBIT up another $100,000, or people come to us and say, well, I thought about selling 2 years ago. I wanted to get from that 1.5 to that $2 million of EBITDA because that was the magic number for me. Well, turns out that wasn't so easy. I'm ready to just do this deal. I'm still at 1.5.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we I thought the same thing, right? It's like, okay, 3.889. I wonder what does it take to get there, right? We've got clients that are growing and have good same store sales rates, and it just felt like something that maybe could be achieved.
Yeah. Well, we didn't discuss revenue on the previous, but assuming that we were at 15 million in revenue, a 20% margin that was generating that $3 million of EBITDA we referenced on the previous slide, we were like, well, what if we were to grow that business by 5%? That's a pretty
It's a good clip.
That's a good clip for a growing business. Let's see what that would look like over time if we wanted to get to that 3.8 million. So here we are, 2023 at 3.3. That's pretty good, but that's 3 years from now. All the way out to 2025. 5 years from now, a kid went to college, got out of college, looking for a job, maybe in your practice. And now here we are out at 2026, and there's our 3.8 million of EBITDA that we need to get that 16.4 million back in our pocket. So that is the blood, sweat, and tears route right there.
Yeah, look, this is a long way away, and it's not just growing your business, but holding onto that risk all along that way. It feels, man, it feels hard. It just feels hard.
Yeah, if you're even on the fence, it has to make you come and take a hard look at where your business is and what your goals are.
Yeah, I also think about being able to kind of put that money away. So all of our deals have an equity role involved in them. So even if you're doing like an 80-20 deal, you're taking 20% of the proceeds and investing that in the equity of your buyer. Let's just say Biden's in the White House for 4 years, and the buyer that you worked with is going to recap in 5. Long-term capital gains rates could pop to 39 and change. And then by the time you're ready to roll out, you could be rolling out again at 20% instead of 40% effectively.
Yeah.
So you can shelter those dollars in the meantime as well. And keep in mind, like when the DSO recaps, you have the option but not the obligation to sell. So it may be maybe the smart money stays in these DSOs for the recaps that are coming in the next 4 years, in hopes that we will enter a lower tax environment if and when the Republicans reclaim the White House.
And one thing we find a lot of sellers kind of coming to the table and talking to us about is, they look at today, all these bidders coming to the table, all these DSOs highly interested, and many of them are just now kind of getting off the ground.
Yeah.
And if you get in with them today and you get off the ground with them, it really enables a lot of these selling docs to put their fingerprint in their market and be an active participant in these DSOs growth strategy.
Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point. All right, we got one other reason, so let's go ahead and get to that now.
Well, I think it's pretty clear, or well, from our side of the table, it's clear because we live it every day. But these deals, they take time. They take a good amount of time, and there are multiple phases to these deals. So that deal I mentioned that we took to market, the oral surgery opportunity, we took it to market in January. We might be under LOI by mid-March. That's a feverish pace for the amount of bidders that they had to entertain and meet with in person, and we had to entertain their analytics team and make sure that they were comfortable with the numbers in order to place their bids, and then once they place their bids, getting them to revise their offer in an effort to get our clients a structure that they were willing to commit to. So that's I guess a very unique example, and probably not the norm. It's certainly the exception. So 4 to 9 months is where you need to prepare yourself if you want to get a transaction closed. And the longer you wait into the end of the year, the more likely that there will be everybody trying to clamor to get a deal done, and there's going to be this huge logjam. That means attorneys that specialize in these fields are going to be held up. Q&E firms that are doing these, so buyers are going to have trouble getting through quality of earnings at the same pace that they would earlier in the year. So the folks that are in market right now are really benefiting from that lack of a logjam and really sailing pretty smoothly through their transactions.
Yeah, I think the earlier you get connected to us, and the quicker Alex and his team and all of us can begin looking at your numbers and and looking at your economics on a location by location basis, there's still time to help window dress the business in preparation for a sale. So we can still perform that exercise and paint the best and brightest picture regarding your business in preparation for taking it to market. I really like Ryan's point about the log jam. We faced one of these back last year.
Don't remind me.
I know.
I
still get PTSD from it. It was, every attorney, every Q of E firm, all of us, it was around the clock for weeks to get through the transaction volume and get these deals to close. I think we'd be foolish to say that's not going to happen again. It's certainly going to happen again.
It's an assumed, we're preparing our calendars. Kevin's preparing the kids that, the Christmas presents under the tree might not get there till after the first of the year.
Santa shows up in January.
There you go.
Yeah. So those who, there's some windows of opportunity that exist today that are going to start closing here. And the sooner you can begin to work with us, the higher likelihood, one, we'll get your deal closed in time, and that's the whole goal. And two, we're going to be able to bring the largest buying pool to you. My guess is the buyers at some point, their business development teams are going to have to hit pause. They're going to look at their pipeline, they're going to look at their infrastructure, they're going to look at their operating team and go, we can't get any more deals done. Effectively, we can't commit to that. We can't overpromise and underdeliver. It's too important to people's livelihoods. Yep. It's too important to the tax ramifications. And they're going to say, look, we don't want to start spending money on attorneys and Q of E firms on deals if we aren't certain we can meet TUSK, your clients' expectations around close.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's going to be another wild year.
Yep.
Okay, so for those of you who stuck with us, thank you. Next steps on your to-do list. If you heard something today that you like, that you want to learn more about, if you want to reach out to any of us individually and just book a call, feel free to pop over to the website, tusk-partners.com, click on the sell button on the top, and then book a call with us. We are always here to provide you a complimentary evaluation of your practice and help you understand where value lives today. So we are more than happy to do that with anyone all the time. I will tell you, it's important to us to only work with clients with which we can meet or beat their expectations. So we do a lot of work on the front end here to make sure we understand the opportunity long before we send you an engagement agreement. We want to make sure that we're aligned with you, that you have clarity from us on where we believe the deal will trade, knowing that we're all economically aligned to drive that value up. But we'd love to spend time with you, getting to know you, understanding your business, and helping you understand where we believe the opportunity lives on the buy side for a partnership with you in your business. That's all we got tonight, guys. We have seen a ton of questions come in. Unfortunately, we've reached the end of our time. I'm looking at these guys; they are cooked. I think it is time for us to call it a wrap this evening. You've got our contact information here. Call us directly, shoot us an email, and for those of you who submitted questions, thank you. We will be back to you in the next 24 hours. In the meantime, find us on the podcast. Look out for our blogs. And hopefully we will see you soon. We are presenting at the DICOMA conference on, when is that again? July 28th. You can go to our website to learn more about that. That is a full day meeting. We're going to have two unique pathways. One pathway is for those of you who are looking to grow and scale or thinking about starting a DSO. It's a spectacular curriculum run by Perrin and DeWalker, Perrin Desports and DeWalker Sinha. They're going to have case studies. They're going to have their clients there talking about the successes they've enjoyed working with TUSK to help them grow and scale in meaningful ways. On the other side of the wall is going to be me, Ryan, and Alex sharing with you the update from the M&A markets. how to prepare your business for sale, what to look for when talking with buyers, what to do the minute you receive an unsolicited offer. It'll be a incredible, probably what are you gonna do, 6-7 hours that day? Yeah, so 6 or 7 hours of just us. It is an affordable use. It's an affordable entry point of $395, and you get to spend the whole day with us, and then we'll have cocktails with you that evening. Look, thank you again for your time. Reach out to us if there's anything you need from us or any questions you may have. Thanks, and have a good night.